Hi there, I'm Ewan McDonald, a support engineer here at Solutions PT, and in this Techno I'm going to be demoing redundant license servers with Aviva Enterprise licensing. And that's going to be a video in the next slide, and I'm also after that going to include any troubleshooting first steps that I would recommend taking a look at should you face any issues with Aviva Enterprise licensing. But of course, do feel free to contact us for support if it goes beyond that, or for any potential queries. So in this video here, I'm going to be installing, starting with installation. That's going to be Enterprise Licensing 4.2.1, which is the latest version, although the general steps will still be applicable to previous versions as well. So I've got the zip file here, but the first thing you want to do is go to Properties, and there's the little unblock tick box. You want to tick that, apply and OK before unzipping, and same goes for an ISO file before mounting, because that's a Windows security feature that will interfere with the installation if it's still present when you unzip. I'm also recorded this beforehand and removed a lot of the waiting steps, so there's going to be a few jump cuts here and there. So hopefully that's not too jarring. The setup, even if you're logged in as an administrator, I'd recommend running it as an administrator just to be sure. So it's just, this is a fresh install of Windows Server 2019 that I'm using. So it needs to install the .NET prerequisites there. Once that's done, you can accept the licensing agreement, and it's important for the servers, which is what we've got here. You can make sure everything's ticked, otherwise you're going to be missing components, and then it's not going to fully work. Okay, so once that's installed, then you can move on to configuration. And in this case, there's only two settings. There's secure setting and a select license server. Now, I'm just going to pause this because in some installations, depending on which products you are installing, you will also see other components in the configurator there. And if it's the general components, which are System Management Server and Federated Identity Provider, are the ones that are also relevant to the licensing. So you're going to want to make sure those are configured first before this part here. Now for Select License Server, on both your primary and your secondary, you're going to want to put the name of the primary. So in this case, we're installing on the primary, so we keep it as default. But then I'm also going to copy this over to bring to the secondary, just there, and I'm pasting that. And then you just want to do test connection, just to make sure that is all working before you configure it. And that's done, so just configuring the primary there. It's on the same machine, so there should be absolutely no issue with test connection, but the secondary is where the true test lies. If it fails at this point, there is a step I'll be covering later on that can remedy that, but in my case here, it has succeeded on the first try, so then we can configure that too. Once you have configured it, it should, if you wait for about 10 or 15 seconds and close down everything else, it's going to prompt you to restart. So that's just what we can do there. That is on both machines as well. The restart's already done. I guess I just cut that out. And now this is the license manager, and we're under primary here, and it's already got the local tile added by default. So what we're going to want to do is go to add server, and then enter the name of the secondary. The display name is filled in by default, just matching the computer name, just labeling that backup license server so we know. And we can see there that it is added. They're both added. Then what we want to do is click on the primary, then go to Manage, then Redundancy, Enable Backup, and then select the secondary for the backup server. And now we can see that those two are paired and available. So now if we go onto the secondary server just here and open up License Manager, We can see in my case that it's actually already registered the pair by itself just automatically. But in your case, depending on your version, you might also need to do the same steps here where you add both servers and then on the primary server, click on it, manage redundancy, enable backup, select backup server, exact same steps as before. Potentially, that is for an older version. Now, as I said before, there is some potential issues that you might have if there are particularly communications issues between the machines. So either the backup couldn't connect to the primary server in Configurator, or the primary couldn't add the backup in License Manager in the first place. So in that case, there is a utility here located in most versions, I think, Prong Files 86 Common Files Orchestra Licensing Framework License Utilities, and it's AELIC Workgroup. So you're going to run that on both machines as administrator. And it's important that beforehand you have, it's just showing you what it's going to do there. It's important that you have an account, preferably an admin account, that has the exact same username and password on both machines. And that's what you're going to want to use to input into this utility. Then when you run that on both machines again, it'll just say configured successfully, finish, and then just retry whichever step it was you were at, and that should hopefully resolve any communications issues between the machines. So this here is a third machine that's been set up to basically just to test out the redundancy, just to demonstrate that. So I've selected the primary server, once again, as the primary server name in Configurator. And then I'm just now going to add a demo license, XML demo license to the primary server. Then, so we've added that, and now just to check that how the redundancy is functioning, if we go onto the secondary license manager now, just give that a refresh, we can now see it's popped up there as well. So that's perfect. That's exactly what we want to see. And now I'm just going to load up System Platform IDE to test the licensing that's picking it up. So now if we go back to our primary, go to usage details or usage summary, we can see that it is getting picked up, that application server dev, by the correct machine. So that's exactly what we want to see. And then we're just going to shut down this machine. And this is the primary, so hopefully the backup should take over. And sorry, that was a bit of a jarring cut, but this is now the backup license server that we're on. And now you can see it says primary not available, which is correct. So primary is disconnected, but the backup's running, and we can see in usage details that now the backup is handing out that license. So we have our redundancy. And just to confirm this, in the system platform node, our IDE development, you can see that it is indeed picking up that same license. So again, perfect. We have our redundancy. So should you encounter any issues, here are the first steps that I would recommend for troubleshooting. So first of all, you want to make sure that the machine name of your license servers, both of them, does not have an underscore in it, because underscores, Aviva products don't like underscores in machine names. There's some other places where underscores aren't liked too, but particularly for licensing, I've seen it many a time where licenses just fail to activate. So if that's the case, you just want to make sure that the computer name is suitable before installing Aviva software. If you've installed it and later found out that there is an underscore in the machine name, you're going to want to uninstall and then rename the machine and then reinstall. Because just renaming the machine won't actually update everything that the Aviva software has taken on. So there's also 6 licensing services in the latest version, assuming you have everything installed, that you'll want to make sure are all present and running. So there's 4 of them under Aviva Enterprise license and 2 of them under license server. Uh, Now, just a side note on not specifically related to redundant servers, but something that I just wanted to bring up because I've seen a bit more frequently as of late is that for VM clusters, uh, it they're quite susceptible to grace periods if there is a licensed server present, because you may or may not have encountered a grace period, but what it is it's triggered when a VM is moved, cloned, or copied, or when there's a hardware change such as MAC address change or network cards added or removed. And with VM clusters, whenever the VMs are moved from one host to another, either because it's failed or because it's been moved on purpose for maintenance, but that can trigger the grace period as well. So the recommended action is for all licensed servers to be on static VMs that will not be subject to any of those changes or conditions that would trigger the grace period, as mentioned above. And that pretty much covers it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this has helped you set up your redundant license servers. And if you have any queries or issues, feel free to contact Solutions PT. Both general inquiries and tech support contacts are listed at the link in the description. Thank you.